Live radar shows the storm breaking apart as it moves across the Southland, but it's still bringing rain to a lot of local areas right now.
The large system is already starting to soak some areas, with the majority of the Southland expected to get some of the storm in the next few hours and overnight.
And all eyes on Hemet, where crews are battling the massive Fairview fire. Will the storm bring much needed rain to help extinguish the flames, or will the wind only fan them? Hello and welcome to a special CBS2 and KCAL9 News newscast. I'm Pat Harvey.
And I'm Juan Fernandez, taking a live look now from our live chopper as the storm continues to move north across our region.
We have live team coverage tonight. Let's begin with meteorologist Evelyn Taft. She's been tracking where that rain is right now. And Ev, we keep saying it, but it's so rare that we talk about tropical storm impact in SoCal.
Right? It's incredible. And you can feel it when you walk outside. You know, it doesn't feel like an average day for us. It's muggy, it's warm, and we're keeping temperatures pretty much in the upper 70s and 80s in the overnight hours. So that already is a rarity. As we get a look at satellite radar right now, and we're tracking K, still a tropical storm, but pretty soon here could turn into a tropical depression and lose some steam. Already losing some as it veers off to the left. I want to get a look at showers right now, and we're looking at steady rain from Bel Air to Century City, Culver City, Windsor Hills, Santa Monica, Marina Del Rey. As we take it over right here to Palm Springs, you'll see some heavier rain. We did have a flash flood warning that expired at 6:30, just half an hour ago. But we did get reports of flash flooding and boulders in the area along the 74 at Taylor. As we look at our watches and warnings, we're still looking at excessive heat warnings and flash flood watches remaining in effect through the weekend. As we get a look back at satellite radar, I want to take you back to the San Gabriel Valley and our mountain and foothill communities there. We are looking at steady showers right now from La Crescenta to Altadena, Pasadena, Glendale, and really we're going to continue to see that steady rain at least for the next little bit here. Let's get a look at that flash flood warning we saw earlier. I do want to show you it has now expired, so things are calming down a little bit for us on that front. And our tropical track right here, you'll notice, yep, still a tropical storm, but K quickly becoming a depression, possibly in the overnight hours as it veers away from the Baja Peninsula and us here in Southern California and continues on out. We still could see some showers and heavier rain overnight through tomorrow, and satellite and radar tracker will show you just that. We'll have a little more on that coming up in just a little bit, but for now, back to you.
Evelyn, thank you. Let's take another live look now from our chopper. Desmond Shaw continues our coverage now from the sky. Desmond, where are you right now?
Juan and Pat, we are over Encino right now. You see the 101 freeway here in the Sepulveda flood basin in the distance. I know there was certainly some concern, perhaps, for the flood basin, but we really haven't encountered any heavy rain. It's mostly just been drizzle all over the place. There were a few heavy pockets at points in West LA as well as Hollywood, but it really seems like it's dissipated. But traffic has not dissipated, as you can see on the westbound 101. Even, here we are at 7 o'clock on Friday. Usually things die down, but definitely some slick conditions out there. I think it definitely caught a few people off guard. I looked on the traffic map, and there's at least 30 different crashes on LA County freeways, most of them minor, people slipping and sliding around, maybe hitting the right shoulder wall or the center divider. Nothing too serious, but definitely a damp start to the weekend here in the San Fernando Valley, no doubt about that. Live in Sky 2 overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw. Pat and Juan, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Des. Now, Orange County is dealing with rain and wind this evening, and that means flooding and beach erosion concerns along the coastline. Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live in Dana Point, where high tide is approaching. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Pat. The threat of strong wind and rain definitely has impacted businesses here along the Orange County coast, and it has forced hundreds of people really to change their Friday plans as well as their plans for tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. We do know that the Catalina Express, which runs boats here out of Dana Point Harbor, only ran one boat today to Catalina Island, and there were many more cancellations.
Here we have parasail. Obviously, it's not going to be parasailing because of the hurricane and the threat of high winds. The Fury right there is our overnight fishing boat. They would normally be out at San Clemente Island fishing.
10 fishing and whale watching trips canceled, and that's just the Friday excursions that didn't happen. The storm has affected hundreds of people who booked fun adventures with Dana Wharf sport fishing and whale watching today and Saturday.
We stayed in. It was rough seas. We had a lot of wind. We did have rain. The rain has stopped. We do anticipate wind through the night and wind tomorrow. So we, as a precaution, will be staying at our docks tomorrow.
Across the harbor in Dana Point, concerns about the coastal weather generated from Tropical Storm K caused the Ocean Institute to cancel this evening's tall ship sail.
We are a little disappointed and we're all antsy. We were ready to go out, and so we're kind of sitting around just like, okay, what do we do now? But
this teenager came from Torrance to act out the cannon fight aboard the tall ship.
I did notice that the water in the bay here seemed to be a little bit more a little bit less calm than usual, and because of that, it would probably seem to be more rough outside of the harbor.
Slick roads in Laguna Beach late this afternoon may have contributed to this accident that sent one car into a building on PCH, injuring one person. And it's the first measurable rain since the coastal fire destroyed 20 homes last May in Laguna Niguel. The burn scar remains intact. The wet weather may have changed plans for these friends vacationing in Orange County.
We had a backup plan B, C, D, and we ended up on plan D.
There hasn't been any rain. We've gotten spit on today, but that's pretty much been the extent of it.
Rain or shine, they're still loving the time together.
And we came from the East Coast. We thought it's always sunny in California. and we got your one rainy day or two rainy days that you have all year, I guess. So
back here live now, a look at Dana Point Harbor. This is what it looks like right now. We have no rain falling, and I have to tell you, I came on the clock at 3 o'clock and we've really just had spitting rain, as that one gal said, pretty much all day today, at least at this point. Looking over my shoulder, you see the homes there on the hill. That's in the direction of San Clemente. It looks almost a little bit foggy. Obviously, the marine layer kind of floating in. And when I look at the water in the harbor, it seems fairly calm. So I know that there were some issues here earlier today as far as wind and rain, Pat. But for now, it's really a gorgeous night in Dana Point. That's the latest here live. Back to you.
No, Michelle, that shot is simply beautiful. You're so right about that. Thanks, Michelle. Well, we are seeing some minor damage. The weather brought down this large tree in Cerritos. Sky 2 captured the cleanup after the tree toppled on Bloomfield Avenue and Lucas Street.
Evacuations in the Fairview fire are being downgraded already thanks to the rain, but the system is throwing new challenges at firefighters in Riverside County.
And here's a look at the latest evacuation map. The remaining mandatory evacuations are in red, south of Hemet and east of Temecula. Tonight, thousands of people are still forced from their homes. And our Nicole Comstock is live from Hemet right now. Good evening, Nicole.
Good evening, Pat and Juan. We do have some light rain falling in Hemet right now, and it seems like the rain they've received all day so far is really helping to slow down the spread of the Fairview fire, which is exactly what evacuees want to hear tonight. Now, if you take a look behind us, you can see all the heavy equipment they have staged along the road here. This is at Cactus Valley near Sage Road, just in case they start to see any mud or debris flow in this burn scar. Now, CAL FIRE says they did have some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts overnight that pushed flames to the west. They haven't been able to fight the fire by air today because of that wind. And it's also made the terrain out here very muddy and difficult to navigate for ground crews. But the rain we've seen out here this evening has really soaked into these drought-stricken hills and taken some of the fuel literally out of this fire. That's why CAL FIRE has decided to downgrade just some of those evacuation orders to warnings. Now, this is generally in some of those areas south of Highway 74 and south of Diamond Valley Lake. Here's what firefighters and evacuees had on their minds today.
There is a lot going on. This is Southern California, and sometimes these events line up, such as this, and that's what we're seeing right now.
It's frightening. I feel so bad for our entire community. It's just unbelievable this is happening.
And I need to find out if my house is up there. It's still standing. I'm really, you don't know at this point. Frustrating, yeah.
For now, fire crews are just waiting to see if mud flow does become a problem out here in any parts of this burn scar. But once again, this weather does bring with it the threat of thunderstorms with lightning, so that is something that crews will be concerned about throughout the weekend. Reporting live in Hemet, I'm Nicole Comstock. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Nicole. And you know it's not every day you see a tractor one on the beach, right? Sky 2 captured this scene this afternoon as the heavy equipment was used to create berms along the beach at Belmont Shore in Long Beach.
What a sight there. Well, flooding fears are happening right now all up and down the coast tonight.
Yeah, cities and residents have been doing their best to prepare for Kay. Our Candace Crone is live in Long Beach with a look at the concerns there. Candace.
That's right. Of course, the big concern is major swells and flooding. We've seen just light rainfall since we've been here in Long Beach. But I do want to point out emergency crews are ready. They are on standby. We are here at a sort of command center where you can see Long Beach Search and Rescue, the fire department all set up with their trucks. And then if we pan over, you can see other trucks there in the distance that have been gathering sand to make the sandbags, and then heavy equipment there ready to reinforce the berm should that need to happen tonight. So as I mentioned again, city crews monitoring the situation, ready to respond at a moment's notice. Now let's take a look at some video. Things have been calm so far, but workers have been reinforcing the berm that took a beating after last night's high tide due to the storm. Well, tonight the big concern, as I mentioned, is steady rain, high tides, and big swells. Officials are worried that waves could overtake the shoreline and possibly damage property. High tide is just after 9 p.m. today, and emergency crews are keeping a close watch on things. Officials from Long Beach Fire, Public Works, Parks and Rec, and more have joined forces this evening. Now, there's also a station out here where you can come and pick up free sandbags if you're worried about water damage to your property. I did speak to a fire captain not too long ago. He said they don't want to see a repeat of last night and are prepared to protect people and their properties.
And last night we actually had the event where we had the storm surge, we had the high tide, and we had significant erosion that was noted to those berms. We had a little bit of local area flooding, but no real reports of any property damage or any issues that we had as it relates to the homes or any of the impacts in those neighborhoods.
And you can see a tractor out there back out live just behind me gathering sand. Now, I should mention that there are no evacuation warnings in place. However, city officials did send out an alert urging people to avoid the coast, to stay away from this area this evening until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates throughout the evening. That is the latest. I'm Candace Crone reporting live in Long Beach. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Candace. Well, it's not just Orange County and our local mountains expecting some rain. Meteorologist Evelyn Taft will have your hour-by-hour forecast.
And the storm from the sky. Look at this. Satellite images showing what Tropical Storm Kay looked like when it was a hurricane. Taking a live look right now at the weather radar, you can see Kay just off our coast, heading west and weakening. Well, it was a wet commute for some as the rain moved in and temperatures dropped.
And people are feeling a little weather whiplash after our extreme heat.
Our Tom Waite live in Woodland Hills now with a look. Tom.
Good evening to you, Juan and Pat. Yeah, a little weather whiplash out there, right? Like 8 days of incredible heat, and now we have some rain. It's still pretty humid out. Take a live look at Ventura Boulevard here in Woodland Hills. Commuters still making their way home tonight or heading out on a Friday evening, either way. People really taking this all in stride. Take a live look or a look at some video we shot just a short time ago here in Woodland Hills. A mom just helping her kid out in the parking lot, trying to make sure that rain jacket was on and trying to make sure everybody stays dry. It's been a pretty steady light rain here, nothing too serious. And I think when you talk to people, everyone is just so relieved that the heavy, hot, humid weather is sort of dissipating. It's not as searing heat as it's been in the past few days. We talked to folks about how they feel about this very changing weather.
I recently moved here like last year, so I've been missing the rain a lot, and it's just been great, which is why I was running.
And it was like 100, gosh knows how.
My car said 114 degrees the other day, and I was like, oh my God, like, it's hot as hell.
And now finally a little rain, a little relief.
It's amazing. Hopefully it cools down a little bit, to be honest, but it just feels great.
It's still hot and humid, so yeah, it definitely feels like tropical weather right now. Unusual to have a hurricane, come up the coast that way, tropical storm right now, and I just hope it doesn't turn into a lot of flooding or anything.
It almost feels right now like an East Coast evening in August. It's so humid and it's raining. As you can see, I've got my umbrella here. Right now, though, everyone seems to be, as you heard, they're taking this in stride, just hoping it doesn't get too much rain out here. So we'll see. Reporting live in Woodland Hills, I'm Tom Waite. Back to you in the studio.
Well, the normally bone-dry desert is getting a dousing as well. Look at this. This video was taken this afternoon in Cathedral City as a cell moved over the Palm Springs area.
Well, Tropical Storm K is causing damage in parts of San Diego. Strong winds are taking down power lines and uprooting trees. But so far, there have been no reports of any injuries.
Also in San Diego, a Learjet crashes into the bay during today's rough conditions. The jet landed on an embankment near Naval Air Station North Island. There were 2 people on board at the time. Officials say both were able to get off the plane on their own. They were taken to a hospital just as a precaution. The jet had some minor damage.
And here's a satellite image that sums up California weather this week. You can see the clouds from K blanketing Southern California and smoke from the mosquito fire that's east of Sacramento spreading across Northern California.
All right, let's return now to Evelyn Taft, who's tracking the rain and what areas are being impacted as we speak.
And where is that?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Can we find out?
That's a lot of rain.
All right, it's
Long
a
Beach
lot
right
of
now.
rain. So this is Long Beach.
Wow.
I know, isn't this incredible? Look, and I'm staying dry through all of it. It's kind of amazing. There we go. All right, so you can see steady rain. That is certainly the case across Southern California. And as we get a look at the radar, I want to show you, yes, we are looking at rain for most of us, and that's going to continue to be the case. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Why don't we zoom into Long Beach and see what's going on there? So we are going to take it up the coast because, of course, San Diego County getting hit with some of this rain. As we take it over to Avalon, yes, rain as well. And finally, as we check in with the PV Peninsula right there from Torrance, Long Beach, all the way down to Seal Beach, Orange County, South Orange County. We're looking at steady showers. Nothing too heavy at the moment, and that flash flood warning has expired for the Coachella Valley. I want to take you through your satellite and radar tracker because this really shows us exactly when and where we can expect to see that rain tonight through tomorrow. So by 10:45 tonight, just a few showers, nothing too heavy. We could see things intensify a little bit over San Diego County, and we're getting a little bit of heavier rain now moving closer to South Orange County, and a few more cells by 4:30 a.m. Doesn't look to be too active overnight, but we could see a few just isolated spots. Otherwise, just looking at showers and continuing to see showers through the morning hours. Things intensifying again by 1 p.m. on Saturday. You'll see over the higher elevations there, and by the 5 o'clock hour tomorrow evening, the Antelope Valley getting hit with some of that heavier rain, but very isolated in nature. Everybody else pretty dry at this point. So we'll just see a few isolated thunderstorms move through tomorrow evening, and then we dry out nicely by the time we head into Sunday with the chance of a leftover thunderstorm. Again, we are not completely in the clear. By Sunday afternoon, looks like we could get some activity well to our north over Santa Barbara County, and we could get a little bit of activity here at home. Not a ton, but maybe a few isolated thunderstorms in our local mountains. Now we get a look at my 7-day forecast for the basin in Orange County, and you'll see a leftover shower, a stray shower maybe Sunday, and then drier by Monday and Tuesday. Comfortable conditions Wednesday and Thursday. For the valleys, 80s, 90s, down to the 70s. We're actually going to be below average for this time of year in the valleys. Until then, isolated rain and then drier conditions, but still a really tremendous event here in Southern California. Not very often we get a tropical storm, at least getting close, not hitting Southern California, but at least somewhere in the zone, right? So we're getting some of that tropical rain and we're feeling the tropical conditions. Doesn't happen very often, maybe every 75 to 100 years. showers. Back to you guys.
Aren't we lucky? Yeah. All right, Evelyn, thanks so much. Rain started earlier today in the San Gabriel Valley. We'll check in on how the Bobcat burn scar area got ready for that.
And stay with us throughout the night as we track the storm on KCAL9 and CBS2. And we are streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles. A welcome sight, taking a live look at the radar, and all that green means rain. Rain across the Southland. It's beginning to rain steadily, too, but so far, no major issues.
And going back to Long Beach, where the rain is coming down real hard tonight, it shows you just how quickly things can turn. It wasn't that wet at the top of this newscast, and now it's pouring out there. Monrovia also seeing some rain tonight. That area has been getting prepared in case of any damage. The Bobcat fire burned the San Gabriel Valley Hills 2 years ago.
Well, LA County crews have cleared out the catch basins for months now, but they're reminding residents to get sandbags in place and not putting garbage cans right against the curb, because they can just sail right down if there's water. Let's turn now to Evelyn Taft with one final look at where the rain is now.
Pat, Juan, pretty incredible as we get a look at satellite radar. But right now, Kay has veered off to the west, leaving us with some tropical moisture, still contending with it. And radar showing you just that. We're looking at widespread rain on radar from downtown to Anaheim to the PV Peninsula, Huntington Beach to San Bernardino and Pomona as you make your way along the 60, the 210, the 405. We are looking at wet conditions this evening if you are out on the roadways. The good news, it's not too heavy at the moment, but that could change at a moment's notice. At this point, things looking calm, just wet, but getting a little heavier later tonight, but very isolated. Most of the heavy rain now staying over San Diego County. Of course, that's where the heart of the event really took place. Once it got here, things got a little calmer for us. By 4:30, we could see some heavier spots right there, and then drier conditions by the morning hours for some of us, but scattered showers for others. You'll see by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we could see some heavier rain in the higher elevations here. You'll see through the Antelope Valley and also through parts of the Apple and Lucerne valleys, and things intensifying a little more so for the Antelope Valley by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're going to continue to track this forecast for you as we move through the night. But for now, Pat, Juan, back to you.
All right, Ev. And we will stay on top of the storm as it moves in and have the very latest coming up on KCAL9 News at 8.
And we're always on CBSLA.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. Thanks for watching as we watch this rain come down. We'll be back real soon.